So today I want to demonstrate how to create a React app from scratch. This demonstration is going to rely on the bare essentials. Facebook does have a create React app project out there. I think it belongs to Facebook. I don't know, but you can use that project to create your application. However, this is actually more minimalistic than that, and it shows only exactly what you need just to get started. So just the bare minimum, Webpack, Babel, and React modules that you need. One thing it does is it helps you understand a React project better, and it shows you really everything you need. It also has a loader that allows you to run the application, make changes, and not have to restart the project. It just automatically runs it. I also explain what all the different things mean in the package.json file so that you have that. This is not a course on actual React, so if you need that, you may want to watch one of the videos, and I'll post some links below to React applications, maybe a React app crash course and so on, so you can see. But anyway, so let's get started. So I created this app from some instructions, and it's creating React app from scratch. So the easiest way to get to that is just to go and download the app from this repository. And so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to show you where I'm getting it from. So let's go here and let's navigate to my GitHub repo. And let's see my repositories. And it's this application from scratch. So I'll copy this link down in the comments below in the description so that you'll have it. So if I go ahead and clone this, I'm just going to copy the link and go back to the command line. So I don't have anything in here at this point in time. So let's go ahead and clone it. And now that I've cloned it, of course, it's going to put it in React app from scratch. You can see that I have a repository here. So now I'm going to move into that directory by using cd command, change directory command to move into it. And I can just hit tab here. And I'm in there. Now, if I look in here, you can see that I have a few files. We're going to take a closer look at those files. But first, I'm going to just go ahead and install it so you can see how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and install this. And I just type, I'm in the directory. Make sure you're in the directory when you install it. So I go ahead and install it. So at this point, what it's doing is taking all the dependencies in the package.json file that I have inside that file for the packages, for the save and the save div, for the tools, and we'll take a closer look at those in a minute. And so it's just installing everything that it says to that it references in that file. So now that I've done that, before I start it, I want to go ahead and start Visual Studio Code. So let's go ahead and start Visual Studio Code right here. And this is going to take us to those files. At this point now, we can just pretty much close this welcome page. And you can see that I already have a lot of files, and I did this based off a tutorial, and we're going to take a closer look at all of these. But one thing I want you to notice is that this package.json file has some things already, like the start script. Okay, that means I can type on the command line npm run start or npm start, and it's going to run this command, which with Webpack dev server in development mode is going to start my project and start running it. And this one build, it'll actually build it. -- mode development will actually package it and build it. So a lot of times before you start, you'll want to build, and I don't really have anything for the test. Now, the dependencies that I was talking about, these dependencies are the dependencies that your project actually has. And like in this case, we have Axios for making web API calls, and of course prop type, which is part of validating properties in React. And of course, all these are just React files. And React Loader, I will talk about this one as well, because there is something nice about React Hot Loader that allows you to basically keep track of it basically monitors the changes in the file system, and then you don't have to necessarily rerun the start script or anything. It automatically reloads it when it detects changes in the project. But there's a way to wire that and hook that into. This one also starts with Redux, because you almost don't have React without Redux. Even though there's hooks now you may be using hooks, but this already comes with Redux in it. Just the bare bones minimum to get you started with Redux. And so it has Redux Dunk as well in there. And these are just your dev dependencies, Babel, for transpiling some of the code that Node may not understand and stuff like that. So Now that we have this, we can actually go to the terminal here. Let's ignore this update here. We can actually view the terminal and make sure when you run it that you're in the right location. So in this case, I'm in the dev demo React app React from scratch, and you can see that's where I'm supposed to be. So at this point, I can actually run some of the same commands. I can do like ls, and it shows me all my files and everything. Sometimes you want to know where you are. Well, you do know where you are because it gives you the entire path, and it's using PowerShell. Sometimes you can select a different shell. This doesn't give me a different option. At this point, since I already installed it, I can build it. So I can say npm run build. And it's going to build my project. And Webpack is going to do its thing right now. Going to package it, bundle it, and all of that. And I'll talk about how it bundles a lot of that stuff too, because you should know that. So at this point, now I can go ahead and start it, because it's another one of my scripts. And you'll see that it runs on the port 3000. So there it is. Yes, you saw briefly that it runs on localhost 3000. If we go to that, the best way is to just get to it from here. Let's go back over here. And we can see that it's running there, and it's running this. This is something that I added as far as to-dos with hooks and with Redux, but you can always remove those and put your own code in. So anyway, let's take a look at the files and see how they run. The files, one of the first things, of course, is the package JSON. You see that we have all these files, all these dependencies, the scripts that are part of it, as far as how it'll run, build, and all of that. Some of the things that I included in this project, like Axios for making your web requests, prop types for validating your properties in React, and other React and all that, and then the dev dependencies, all of these things, all these loaders and stuff that Webpack needs. If you look at the Webpack configuration, this Webpack configuration basically says that anything that's JavaScript or JavaScript X JSX is going to use the Babel loader. That's so that it'll transpile ES6 into normal JavaScript if necessary. So it talks about, it also has this for the CSS, it's using the style loader so that it can package all that. And then as far as the output, everything in JavaScript and JavaScript X is going to resolve to distribution, and it's going to put it in a file called bundle.js. That's why a lot of times you can't read what's in there. It's because it's all bundled up into those scripts. It doesn't remain in the scripts that you actually put it in. It'll go there. And the dev server will go to public, and it's going to use port 3000 that it runs on for development. And so this is our public path and so on. Once we look at that, if we look at our index page, there's not a lot to see here, other than that we have just a regular HTML document that basically tells it it's HTML5. We have the HTML tags, the body, and so on. There's no script. If you don't have JavaScript enabled, this will actually tell you that you don't have JavaScript enabled. I really can't think of too many people that don't run JavaScript anymore, but it's possible. Just can't do much on the web without it anymore. And then finally, we have the script, and this is the bundle.js, which this bundle.js, once it's bundled, is going to target this div, very important div that says root, because once we start looking at our actual source code and we look at our components, you'll notice that, we start from the index.js. You'll notice that the JavaScript will run, right? And it's going to create an app component, app.js component. Now, when you're starting React, this is the way you import things. So this is just saying we need this React, the React module from the React library, and this we need React DOM. And then we need the app.js. This is a local, and you can tell it's local because it has the dot. That means this directory in the same directory as this one, there's a file called app.js. We need that. And what that does is when we call React DOM, that's what's using this React DOM. And it says render what? Render this component, app component. And it's going to attach it. When we say React render, we're telling it to render. We're telling it to render to an element that's named root. That's what's in the index. In the index HTML that I showed a little while ago, it's going to this one. It's going to attach itself here. So this is where all our app is in between these two things. I know it's hard to believe, but that's where the entire app is. When we look at app.js, app.js is just really a component. And this is not really a class about components. This is just to get you started with React. And then, of course, you have to get into understanding how components are structured and all that. But this is not that. This is just saying, okay, I have a functional component, If you're not familiar with arrow functions, this is just really a JavaScript function, but it's a arrow function, and it's using state, and it's using the, using hooks and all of that. And then it's just basically taking and calling Axios to get the to-dos JSON, which is a file here. It's this file with these to-dos. So it just calls those files, loads it. When it gets them, it takes logs the response, logs the data, which you should probably remove. You don't want to ship your application with any console logs, but that's just for debugging. And then it sets the to-dos, and that's because the hooks, this is the way hooks work. You notice we import use state and use effect from up here, but like I said, it's not a class on that so much, but this is an example using hooks, and it loads the data, and then it takes the data and it sets it as the to-dos, and then later on it passes those to-dos to another component, the to-dos component, which is basically the to-dos component is in components. You can see where we import it from here. We import the to-dos component, and the to-dos component comes from components to-dos, so that's another component, and it just renders. So anyway, that's in a nutshell how you create a React app from scratch. It has all the pieces that you need. This is the bare minimum. If you are trying to do additional stuff like Sass and all that stuff, CSS, and if you're trying to do images, because we don't even have an images component here, you're going to need to add those to Webpack. But this is like the bare minimum that you need, even more bare than Create React App, because Create React App adds a lot of additional stuff. If you wanted to recreate this, you could actually add a lot of this stuff and maybe omit like the additional components that I added, like these, for example. These to-dos, you could probably remove those and then just show the app. Anything you want to modify, you can start. This is just a good starting point for a React app. The other thing that this has, and I believe it's in this module, is if you look at the components, there's the app.js file. And the app.js file has two components, the to-dos with just the to-dos and the to-dos with Redux. Notice that the to-dos with Redux call a different component. I think I have an extra tag here, as a matter of fact. I need to fix that. Okay, so I have the to-dos with Redux here. And the to-dos with Redux component, notice that it has some additional capabilities. So you may want to look at, once you're ready to start looking to Redux, look at this because this has the bare minimum for Redux. And notice how it's fetching from one of our actions, the to-dos, because it goes out and grabs the to-dos, and then it goes and renders them. So when in component will mount, it will fetch the to-dos and it'll render them and all that. But this is getting deeper into it. Don't really want to get into that. This is just really to show to demonstrate how to get a bare React app working. The fact is that this has evolved though, and it has the Redux pieces in there, which probably will help you because you'll probably need that anyway. But you can always take them out if you want to. You probably could start off by taking out this component and then taking out that entire folder for Redux. If you look in here, you see this Redux folder that we created. You could remove all of these and then you'd be done with that. And you wouldn't have to use Redux at all if you don't want to, if you find a different way. But Redux is really the way to go, except that Hooks is now changing that and replacing that. I haven't quite gone 100% deep into the hooks, so I'm not sure exactly how you replace everything that Redux does with the hooks, but I hear that you can. So anyway, that's all I have. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps my channel. If you like this, especially if you like this content, because that way I can bring you more content. I'm really trying to grow the channel, and I'm really trying to gain the audience. And of course, if you like it, you can get more content like this. If you don't like it, well, I can't really say, go ahead and subscribe. But if you really do like it and you want to see more content, subscribe. And don't forget to click the notifications. That way you get notified. I try to put out a video every week, so you'll just get notified once a week. I'm not creating a lot of content, and then that way it shows up on your email, and you'll know when another new video comes up. And also, if you want to see videos on different topics, please let me know. What topics do you want to see videos on? And I will try to honor those to the best of my ability. Thanks for watching.